All right, I got this. All right, so basically, I was actually playing VRChat, right, and all my family was gone, and we had renovators, and so our house was being renovated and stuff, and we had like a plastic covering the doors and stuff, so we're like drywall and stuff won't get into like other rooms,
Right.
and I hadn't like eaten or drinking anything in like 3 days, or like I'd been up for I think 3 days at the time, and yeah, I was like, it was bad. And I went down, like, one of my friends, he was like, yo, go get some like Gatorade because I was getting really sick. And he was like, maybe just some electrolytes or something like that. And I went and got that, right? I walked down there, and while I was walking down there, I heard something in the kitchen. And then I was like, all right, well, I know there's nothing supposed to be in there, but I'm just gonna like assume, because I knew where my dog was at the time. He was upstairs laying in my mom's room where he normally does. So I knew he wasn't
Hmm.
downstairs. And I walked down there, and when I was walking up, I heard it again, and I was like, Ben, is that you? It's my dog's name. And then and what it sounded like a bag being dragged across the ground. That's what it sounded like. And I called it towards him, and that shit started like I heard, like, I couldn't see in it because the plastic that was covering the door. I heard that thing like beeline it towards me, and I fucking bolted up the stairs. I was like,
Shit.
yeah, nah, I was like, and like I sat down and I was like, yo guys, and they were like, what? And I was like, dude, I don't even fucking know. And I just drank my Gatorade, and yeah, dude. And that didn't even happen that long ago. That was like,
That was
I think
recent?
that was like yeah, no, that was hella recent. That was I think like a little under a year ago. I think probably like the most recent scary thing is I was pretty high off some weed, and I was sitting there, right? And this was a lot, like I did a lot. And I was by myself again, obviously. And like I was home here, and everybody else was gone. And I was sitting there tripping my balls off, sort of. I don't know. I mean, if anybody's been high on weed, I mean, I guess you kind of understand. Um,
Yeah, when you hit that one point where it's like you're not just feeling high, you're woo seeing, I'm not like visual hallucinations, but like you're
yeah,
yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, no. Well, I heard like hella people calling my name downstairs and shit, and like people like walking up and down the stairs, and I was like, fuck this shit, and just went to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that
Shit
point,
was
it's like, what
wild.
else you gonna do except like, nope, I'm just gonna go to bed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can cause that, especially if you start panicking, it just gets worse and more real, and like it can
Mm.
get bad. The scariest thing that happened to me was I was teaching my cousin how to ride a four-wheeler,
Mm.
because she was like 12 at the time and just refused to like learn how to ride a four-wheeler. And like finally, it was one summer, it was getting closer to the fall, and I was like, you gotta learn how to ride. Like I've been riding this thing for like 6 years now. You gotta learn how to ride. So I was like 14 at the time. She would have been like 12 at the time. And so I'm showing her. So my family had like this farm where they would like keep some cows and goats and horses and chicken, just farm stuff, and then had a little garden as well.
Yeah.
And like the animals were way on one side, and then the crops were way over on the other side. And in between, they had their houses. So like they had, like my one aunt's house here and my other aunt's house back, a bit further back, and they had a little like shelter and picnic area right above the garden. So there was like a little mile or so stretch, maybe, from the houses to the garden, and we were riding from like the barn, which was in front of the houses where the animals were, to the shelter and back. So a couple miles, both ways.
Right.
So she's driving, I'm on the back, and we pull up. It's dusk, and it's like the last time we're gonna make the loop. So we start from the barn, and it's like I said, it's dusk, and the headlights on the four-wheeler don't really work all that well, but we see well enough to ride. We're like, okay, this has to be the last time because we're not able to see coming back. So we get up like just beyond the pond, and we're heading up to the shelter, and we're on this little bend, and we've done this like 50 times, like at least I had, and she had done it probably 4 or 5 at least. Like we're really, really used to everything we see there. We pull up around that bend, and there is something like standing just to the left of the road, next to a tree. Like it is several feet out from the tree line, but it's so dim we can't make out what it is. It's obviously something new and something big, but it's just sort of there. And it had like a definite like humanoid like head and shoulders. Like you could see the round, because like that part was still up next to the sky. So the backdrop was the sky, and you could see head, shoulders, but you couldn't make any detail below it. And then we go right past it, and she, the dumbass, stops. Like, not 20 feet past it. Turns around and goes, "Did you see that?" And I'm like, I am panicking. And I go, "No, keep driving. I didn't see anything."
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I am panicking. Oh, fuck. It wasn't just me who saw it. Like, it was her. She saw it. It was actually there. Because, like, I was trying to convince myself it was just me, or, like, I was just freaking out, but, like, she saw it, too. And she cuts the fuller way down and is getting ready to turn it off and, like, wants to look behind her, and I'm like, I'm not keeping her from doing it. And where you can hear twigs and stuff and, like, branches breaking as it's going away. Like, it's running away from the four-wheeler, I guess. Or I don't think it was coming towards us, because, I mean, it didn't. You know, it must have had to have gone into the tree line after that. But, like, it was... like we could hear the thumping and the breaking of the branches over the hum of the four-wheeler, over that passive, you know, brrr, hum of the four-wheeler.
Right.
And like I still shake thinking about it to this day. It was huge. I mean, if it was a bear, I don't know, but like it looked way bigger than a bear. And after that she got off, I jumped on.
Sorry.
Sorry?
Was it size massive, or was it skinny? Did you catch like a defined
it was
silhouette?
Like the silhouette, we could only see like the bust of it, I would say, like head and shoulders.
But
okay. The reason why neither of us thought it was a bear is because it had such a round head and shoulders. Like it was almost human-like head and shoulders. Like it didn't look... It looked vaguely mammalian in that sense, but it was very human in the sense that it had a defined head and shoulders, and the shoulders were like bigger than the head, and like the proportions looked human. But the thing had to have been like 8 feet tall, so it wasn't a person, because it was like we looked at the branch the next day where its head almost was, and it's like 8 or 9 feet up. That branch was. It's like we couldn't if she stood on my shoulders, we couldn't have reached that branch. So like. Or at least barely could have reached that branch. And it was like, that thing had to have been like 8 or 9 feet tall. Jesus. And it scared the shit out of us. This is something that relates to Halloween. How did I forget about this? Okay, so several years ago, I had just turned 13. And it was Halloween night. And we get a knock at the door at 12, like on the dot, 12 at night. And we're like, oh no.
What the fuck?
What is this? You know, is that your door?
Oh,
no, it's like trying to add immersion, you know?
Nice.
Oh,
Good
adding
call.
immersion. Nice. Yeah. So I get a knock at the door, 12 o'clock at night, and I'm like, oh no, like it's Halloween. People are trying to do scary shit. I'm scared. It's just me and my mom. Dad had left. Like he left a long time ago. And so it was just me and mom in the house. And so I'm like, this is bad. The closest people nearest is my grandma and grandpa, and they live next door. If it's someone violent, they could easily already gotten them. I look outside, and it's some young guy who looks like scared, right? He looks like kind of panicky, and I'm like, oh no. And like I'm telling like mom, it's some young guy. I think it's like a teenager. He's literally wearing short sleeves and like shorts, and I'm like, and it's cold outside. Like, what is this guy doing? And so we're kind of panicking. She's like, we should open the door. I'm like, I don't think we should open the door. She's like, we should open the door. I'm like, fine, I'm opening the door. So I open the door, and I'm like, hey there. And it ended up being something so much better than we thought. Like, we were expecting the worst. Like, we were terrified out of our minds. But this guy just goes, you don't know this? But he points at me, and he goes, I'm your cousin.
What the fuck?
Because I'm related to you. My car's broke down. I just got this piece of junk from my dad who got me for my first car, and it broke down just outside. And I'm like, I remember him telling me this story, saying that you actually have family here and that they're your cousins. And I'm like, oh, this is a great way to meet my cousin.
Okay, so I live pretty close to like a military base. It's like it's like more like World War II military base. It's not really active anymore.
Right here.
And like, you can like enter it. It's like a full-on bunker and everything. It's like, it goes like 2 stories deep or something. And it's like about a foot field big, and a pretty big football field. So you like enter it and be like crawling and shit. It's like vacates. It's very interesting actually.
Yeah. Explored a few.
I haven't seen any scary shit. Oh wait, I have seen some shit though. There was like a pentagram. I don't know what, but it's like like the old pentagram shit.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but it was like blood. It was just like cut in like a wheat field, like like that. And it was like a big like deer skull on top of it. But there's like a lot of deer in there, so it's not that weird. Like honestly, if you want to do some like weird shit, just like scare people, like honestly, I could have done a pentagram. It's like, I mean, you want to make it interesting for other people, you know? So like you just like do weird shit in words, obviously.
Because nobody else thought that. It was his doing.
There's nothing. I mean, you want to make it interesting, tourists and
draw
everything.
pentagrams and. Sorry.
I mean, you want to make it interesting. You're like, I mean,
yeah, you could scare some people, I guess. Who knows? Maybe
Yeah,
there was
exactly.
a satanic cult out there, or maybe it was just
I
someone
don't-
having some fun.
yeah, fun.
You said this was in the middle of a wheat field, so it's kind of like those what are those alien crop sites or whatever? Is it like that?
Crop circle?
Oh,
Crop circles. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah.
Maybe it
Interesting.
was aliens then.
Could have been.
Satanic
Satanist aliens.
Satanic aliens. Anything is possible.
Satanic aliens.